GOP unity is stronger than ever. The bandaged ear badass himself, Donald Trump, sizing up the stage and the podium, where his running mate, JD Vance, will show the nation what he's made of. Vance gearing up to give a primetime speech at the Republican convention, and earlier he gave us this preview.
President Trump has taken everything that they've thrown at him, and he's come out stronger, and the country has come out better for his service. After he literally got shot, came within millimeters of losing his life in the service of this country, what did he do? He called for national unity. He called for calm. He showed leadership. The guy who actually connects with working people in this country is not fake Scranton Joe. It's real President Donald Trump.
And remember Trump's 2024 rivals, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis? Well, they're fully aboard the Trump train.
Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period. For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump.
America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
If Donald Trump has shown us anything, it's that when it feels impossible to keep going, those are the times we must keep going. He is bold, he is strong, he is fearless, and he is exactly what this country needs right now.
Meanwhile, Kamala not laughing about her upcoming dance with JD Vance. The Veep rivals had a brief and respectful phone call, and she put out this ad to hype the debate.
Trump looked for someone he knew would be a rubber stamp for his extreme agenda, and make no mistake, JD Vance will be loyal only to Trump, not to our country.
A Biden-Harris campaign official confirming Cam is committed to 3 potential dates for a VP debate with Vance, and is waiting for his move. Dana,
yes, sir?
The framing here is so stark. And on one side, you have order, coherence, unity, optimism, and, the path forward is obvious. People are coalescing. On the other, you have incoherence, chaos, and Joe Biden. It's so interesting. I've never seen anything as stark as this.
Yeah, and it's growing by the hour.
Yeah.
Like you take a break from your phone, you come back like, oh, there's Adam Schiff has called for Biden to step down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I think what's interesting here, you've seen as Trump builds the coalition that he wants to go into the battle for this election, he has figured out a way to invite Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. They gave speeches where they got a ton of cheers. And if you are somebody who says that you think that's fake, if you're on the left and you say, oh, how fake, they used to say this about him. You could even say that about JD Vance, right? Imagine what it's going to be like in Chicago if Biden is the actual nominee and Democrat after Democrat gets up and pledges their undying loyalty to President Biden, who they've already told all the reporters that they don't believe should be president. I mean, that'll be something to watch indeed. Nikki Haley answered a question that a lot of Democrats will put forward, saying, but there's, 18% of Republicans voted for her in the primary, so he's going to fall short in these states. No, that's not what's happening. Coalitions come together, people come together, and if you don't want the Nikki Haley voters, if you want to, like I saw some people on the right saying, oh, she's horrible and she's a snake, and you can say that, but this is going to be a close election. You need everybody you can get, and I think Donald Trump could not have asked for more last night on the unity front than that.
Yeah, Judge, it's so amazing how the media is surprised when rivals endorse each other. It's only been happening for a few centuries. Yeah. This is what happens when the rivals lose to the winner, and then everybody says, I support that guy. That's how it works.
That is how it works. That's why they say politics makes strange bedfellows. Yeah. I mean, it's the history of how it works. But, the interesting part of this is the fact that you've got JD Vance, who criticized Donald Trump. Nikki Haley more than criticized Donald Trump. DeSantis criticized Donald Trump. Amber Rose criticized Donald Trump. All of these people, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, let's just realize that Donald, let's just recognize, well, not everybody's criticizing Biden now, but that's another story. Donald Trump has been able to turn his detractors into his supporters. And now we have seen the Republican Party more united than it's ever been. We're not even talking about rhinos anymore. The Republican Party is solidly the MAGA Party. And when we hear from JD Vance tonight, I'm interested, I think a lot of people will be intrigued to hear his story, what he's all about, why Donald Trump is, he feels this affinity for him. I think the voters will recognize that it's MAGA today, MAGA tomorrow, and the Republican Party has been solidified. Today's theme, every day has been a theme, is about making America strong again. It's about global issues. And it's interesting that this is the day that J.D. Vance is speaking. The Democrats are global laughingstocks, not just of what we will talk about today with respect to the Secret Service, but Afghanistan and everything else. But going forward, I think everything is being steamrolled on the Republican side toward a win.
So, Jessica, I want to ask you about this debate. The Kamala Harris, J.D. Vance debate presupposes that Joe is still going to be on the top of the ticket. How does she know she's going to be debating Vance and not Trump? Mm-hmm. How does she know, Jessica?
How does she know? She put two coconuts together. The coconut pilled thing, everyone knows it.
I remember
Thank you for laughing at that. I was funny. As of today, she is the vice presidential nominee. Joe Biden is the presidential nominee. I think it's great that she accepted. I was heartened to see that she called him. I think that the fact that you've had Donald Trump and Joe Biden speak, and now Kamala Harris and J.D. Vance speak, is good for this particular moment in the country when we had an attempted assassination on a former president. So all of that is good. In terms of the unity point, Dana's absolutely right. Nikki Haley was winning 18% of the vote in some states. But the part of that I'm looking at is what were they saying, those voters, in terms of whether they'd support Donald Trump if he was the nominee. Mm-hmm. And in a variety of states, that was between 30 and 50% that were saying, we are not going to vote for Donald Trump. We don't want him to be the nominee, and we're not going to support him. And when we all know that this election is going to be won in, 5 to 7 states, those numbers can matter a lot. So, yes, it is very unified here. I feel the energy. I get it. J.D. Vance once said when he was anti-Trump that he's like cultural heroin. And I thought that was such a wonderful summation, actually, of what's going on. I feel it. I feel it out here. I was in the convention center when Donald Trump came back Monday night, and they saw him for the first time. And people are addicted to this man. Mm-hmm. And they are going to be through the election. What happens with all these people who are not here in Milwaukee right now, who are sitting at home and didn't want this outcome, time will tell whether they will stick with Biden. Many of them voted for him in 2020, or they come home.
Jesse, when you look at the Republicans and the people are speaking, you notice the level of talent compared to the demoralized Democrats. It's like the adults have come home, and the Democrats are dealing with the fact that their wokeism has actually killed their party.
If he's cultural heroism, then I'm a junkie.
Heroin.
Stick it in my vein, Jessica.
I have methadone for you, by the way, in my purse.
Okay, give that to Greg.
I don't even get that.
You know, the Trump campaign just came out and put out a statement and said, we're not going to commit to debating Kamala at a certain date. We don't know who's going to be on the ticket. It would be unfair to Newsom or Pritzker or Whitmer, so they haven't committed. What was Reagan's 11th commandment? Thou shalt not speak ill of a fellow Republican. You're seeing that all week. Janine hit it. I don't hear about rhinos. I don't hear about it all. There's two types of parties, Greg. There's the ideological party that you have a predetermined set of beliefs, and then they just try to convert everybody. Right. And then you have the big tent party that has a broad range of beliefs. And, hey, if someone believes in 15% of what we believe, come on in, let's go. And you can see now in the lineups, you have crypto fanatics, you have union guys, you have black, white, Hispanic, you have this OnlyFans influencer who Britt Hume told me all about. I had no idea who she was before he told me. Nikki Haley nailed it. She said last night, you don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him. Then she says we must not only be a unified party, we must expand our party. And that's what we're doing. Traditionally, the Republicans have had the three-legged stool. You have the national security people, you have the business people, you have the social security people. That's still potent, but that's de-emphasized now. Now it's more about economic populism and creating a broad platform that can appeal to people across class and racial lines and kind of lands in a common sense conservative platform. We are now the party of reality and results, not ideology. And JD Vance is going to be a great young face to get that message across. Emma's watching this thing from home. She says she can feel the power of this convention. And she's great at feeling power. She feels it better than anybody.
Jesse.
Hi.
That's why she's with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Very perceptive.
Is it okay to vomit live?
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.